Hey everybody, Blue Goblin and Norman here. We're here to talk about the spectacle of the Immortals, WrestleMania 31. Where do we begin?
Kickoff show would be nice.
Yeah.
Starting with the tag team cluster hump that it was. Kid and Cesaro retain their titles. Like I say, if you like just a bunch of jumbled up mess, that was a match for checking out.
Yeah, I didn't get to see the match. I was late to the show, so I unfortunately missed out on the match. I might go back and rewatch it, but I had heard that Kid and Cesaro had actually developed a name called the Brass Ring Club. Why they're not using that, I don't know. But, oh well. Then I started with the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. And now that we've seen how it was, I'm kind of glad they moved it to the kickoff show considering who ended up winning. It was okay up until the very end. I didn't agree with the finish. That finish probably would have been a little bit more believable had they done it last year, but for some deep down reason, I just don't like it. I expected Damian Sandow to end up winning. The best thing about it was Sandow finally turned on the Miz, which is what needed to happen.
I agree with that. I really disagreed with the commentating on that. They tried to play up the idea that Big Show dominated that Battle Royal when in fact the one who dominated that Battle Royal was Ryback.
Yes.
And,
oh God, Ryback was the star of that match, even though he didn't win.
No, he didn't win. He came pretty close, but...
oh, we got to talk about Axelmania.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed. Axelmania, everybody threw him out.
Yeah, it's like...
Everybody stopped what they were doing just to throw him out.
It's like they gave
Funny segment.
They gave him the Muhammad Hassan treatment. It was just so bad, but it was... I say what you want to. I love this Axelmania gimmick. I love it. It's great. It's fun.
He's still in the Royal Rumble.
Yes, he is still in the Royal Rumble.
So,
now, Intercontinental. Okay, the official show started with the Intercontinental title ladder match, aka Spot Fest. We had Daniel Bryan, Dolph Ziggler, R-Truth, Bad News Barrett, Dean Ambrose, Stardust, and Luke Harper.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. I couldn't remember half of those.
What's really sad is that my pick was R-Truth because he had gotten the best building up to this match. He got the best development. He had the best parts of the angle leading up to this match. I thought he was due. He was ready and due for a big win, a signature victory at a WrestleMania. But they went with the obvious choice, the internet darling Daniel Bryan. Don't get me wrong, Daniel Bryan, fine. Okay, he wins the Intercontinental title. I'll respect it. And he is now a Grand Slam champion according to the WWE. Let's just hope that the people who say that he's going to bring prestige back to the Intercontinental title, I'm hoping they're right, because that belt needs to mean something again. And if you're going to give it to a big star like Daniel Bryan, let's hope he can do something with it. What were your thoughts on this match?
I agree with you completely about that. My pick was Bad News Barrett retaining it because I just thought that it would just be a big kick in the teeth if Bad News Barrett wasn't able to win a single match all month and then beats all them superstars.
Oh,
and,
man.
At times I found myself rooting for Dolph Ziggler because, I'm a zigzagger myself. And,
I did not want Dolph Ziggler to win. I think sometimes,
I wanted Barrett to win it, but,
yeah,
Ziggler would climb that ladder as
fast
fast as he did. I just found myself being excited.
What about that scary bump that Dean Ambrose took, that broken ladder? Ooh, landed right on his head. That looks sick.
Yeah, well, he's Dean Ambrose. He'll be all right.
Yeah, he'll no sell it tomorrow, the next night on Raw. But okay, it was an okay match. What was the next match? It was
Orton and Rollins.
Seth Rollins and Randy Orton. Orton went a little old school, bringing out the elbow pads and the hand wraps. It's like kind of looked like 2004 Randy Orton here, the one that beat He Who Shall Not Be Named for his first world title. This was a decent match, and this was a match I was wanting to see.
I thought it was the best match of the night, and with the biggest WrestleMania moment, Randy Orton's springboard RKO.
Oh my
Curb stomp turned into an RKO.
That has to be hands down. I'm not a big Randy Orton fan, but I love the RKO as a finishing move. It's, you know, the diamond cutter, the RKO, whatever you want to call it. It's one of my favorite moves of all time. And that, to me, as long as I've been watching wrestling, that's got to be the sickest Ace Crusher, Diamond Cutter, RKO, whatever you want to call it. That was the sickest one I think I've ever seen. The height that Seth Rollins was in to get caught with the RKO, that was amazing. A good match. A good match. I just thought it could have been better built up leading to this show. Much like the rest of this card. Then we had the return of the Monday Night Wars, Triple H versus Sting.
Or DX versus the NWO, which it turned into.
That's what it turned into. And to be fair, that was a feud that I would have liked to have seen during the Attitude Era. An actual DX versus NWO feud, you know, cross promotion or some shit. You know, that's what we were fantasizing back in the day. It's like DX ran out, and it's like they announced that this was like the only way you can win is by pinfall submission. When the hell did they announce on Raws or SmackDowns that this was going to be a no DQ match?
I don't know about all that, but it was just a long, drawn-out Triple H love fest for himself, in my opinion. Cool segment, but he took the time to turn his entrance into a promotion for the new Terminator movie.
Which, it's instantly dated. But Sting looked great in this match. I mean, Sting looked great in this one match than he ever did in his entire run of TNA. And that's saying a lot. And it's like DX running out, and then the NWO comes out, kind of trying to finally get back at DX for ripping off their gimmick. But anyway, the match was fine, but the finish was ridiculous. You had Sting debut at Survivor Series. You had all this talk. You want to get Sting. You want to try and get Sting. And for 15 years, we've been wanting Sting in the WWE. And you finally get it. You build him all up start building him up at Survivor Series to lead up to WrestleMania just to have him job. Really? The wrong guy won this match. And what's really shocking is that Triple H hits Sting in the head with a sledgehammer, pins him, and then they both get up and shake hands. That made no fucking sense whatsoever. The match was good up until the finish.
Next, going on to the Divas match, Paige and AJ taking on the Bellas, in which nothing got resolved at the end of that, where Paige and AJ win, but the Bellas still walk away. They're defeated. They're not humiliated. They're not hurt.
Nikki's still the champion.
Walk away. So nothing gets resolved there.
There's no reward, no nothing. It was a piss poor match, and the Bellas were booked way too dominant. And I wonder if anybody heard Michael Cole's dumbass statement. Do you know the Bella Twins have been twins for most of their life?
Yeah.
Oh my God, what a tool! The match was bad. They got a decent amount of time, but the Bellas were too dominant, and the right girls won. But like I said, no true repercussions. So next was, oh shit.
Rusev got screwed.
Yeah, Rusev had probably one of the best entrants of the whole show. All those Russian troops and the tank and everything, that was awesome. But man, this match was a stinker. This was bad. And all that patriotic bullshit that they played before.
From start to finish, it was just poor. First of all, Rusev coming out first as the champion. He gets this grand entrance in a tank, and with a whole military marching in front of him, and he comes out first. And then they show this patriotic video for John Cena, and of all people to put in there, they put in George W. Bush. Yeah,
Cena with his strategery is going to win the U.S. title. Yeah, it just seems so forced, so phoned in. It was bullshit. You give him all the patriotic shit you can, they're still going to boo him out of the building. Lana looked hot, but man, this match was a stinker. Their match at Fastlane told a better story. Their match at Fastlane was better paced and better done. This match was just crap. This was just pure crap with a predictable finish. Stupid as hell. Fuck John Cena. Fuck you, Vince McMahon. You both just successfully killed another young and potential future big talent that you could have for long term. But now that he's been fed to the Cena monster, Rusev probably ain't going to mean shit.
I'm going to go ahead and say Rusev is the next world champion.
if they can save Rusev, they better damn well do it. Next was Bray Wyatt versus The Undertaker. Wow. This is probably the one match I really wanted to see more than any of them, but it's like the build-up was just bad. But I give respect to Bray Wyatt. He did the best he could building this match up all by himself. Undertaker looked good, actually. He looked a lot better than he did last year. Last year he looked kind of sick, but in this one, he grew his hair. Grew his hair and his goatee back a little bit, and he looked a little younger than he did last year. So yeah,
he did. I found myself for the first time going against The Undertaker. I really wanted Bray Wyatt to pull it off and really give The Undertaker what he needed. You know, Undertaker's getting up there. I want him to bow out with grace. I thought Bray Wyatt could do it. Evidently not. The Undertaker proved that he is in fact the man. It was a good match. They both had good entrances.
Yeah,
despite the fact that
it was in the daylight.
It was sunny as hell out there in California.
Yeah, it just didn't look right seeing The Undertaker in the darkness while it's bright and sunny. It just looked ridiculous. And my only two complaints about this match is it was a little short. Of course, I didn't know at the time that Bray Wyatt had injured his ankle right before the show, and he was basically wrestling injured. But the fact that Undertaker had to go over here, I'm like, he's exactly right. I think Bray Wyatt could have used a big win like that a lot more than Undertaker could. And the commentator saying he is now 22-1. That sounds so underwhelming when you're trying to make it sound really good. But not a bad match. It just could have been a little bit longer. Before we get to the main event, we got to talk about that segment with Triple H and The Rock. And Stephanie McMahon and Ronda Rousey.
Before we get started with that, keep in mind, Sting and Triple H had a match where Triple H shakes hands with Sting, showing a sign of respect for what Sting stands for. And then in this segment, he turns around and pretty much says, "Screw you, WCW. Screw you, fans. Screw all of you. This company's nothing without me."
Yeah.
Right after he just did that show of respect for Sting.
Yeah, it's like I said, just nonsensical bullshit that Triple H gives himself or books for himself or stuff like that. It's just really stupid. This segment with Triple H and The Rock, it was good to see Triple H and The Rock face to face again because it felt like the Attitude Era again. But I'm wondering if they're setting up a match between the two of them at next year's WrestleMania, which I wouldn't mind seeing. But this segment kind of dragged on a little
30
bit.
minutes exactly.
Yeah, and it's like Ronda Rousey, she's a badass. And see her hip toss Triple H like that was awesome. But the stuff with Stephanie was kind of underwhelming. Of course, she's going to oversell it later, saying she's probably going to have her arm in a sling or something. But wasn't a bad segment, but The Rock proved that he is a star because a true star in the wrestling business can get a really big reaction without having to say a damn word.
But I think they played that up a little too much. He could have got to the point, and that segment could have been maybe cut down to 20 minutes had The Rock just got out there and said what he wanted to say.
Yeah.
But, championship match.
Suplex City, bitch!
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns. Oh, excuse me. Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. There you go. Gotta say it right. Wow.
I really thought that was going to be a bad match in the first 3 minutes.
I was expecting it to be Lesnar Goldberg bad. Oh.
Well, no, I expected it to be a good match before the match started, but then once Brock Lesnar went out there and just started dominating on Roman Reigns, I was worried and I was scared that this match is going to just be one-sided all the way.
Lesnar was no-selling Roman Reigns' clotheslines and shit and everything. This match was suplex after suplex after suplex, and I got to be honest, it was boring the ever-loving shit out of me. You can book a superstar to be too dominant to the point where they get a little boring and stale and repetitive, and that's where this was going up until the spot where Lesnar got busted open.
And from that point on, everything that Brock did to Roman Reigns was getting knocked down, but the entire time he was laughing at Brock Lesnar, daring him to do more, and it was good. It was
I liked that.
A level of brutality and just
And
absolute insanity.
you know, Reigns was like, I kind of got the feeling that Reigns was kind of like in denial. He's like, he's in pain, but he's gonna try and let Brock Lesnar know. It's like, you think this hurts? Keep going, bitch. It's just, and it added to the match. It added to the match, and at one point I thought, this could really go somewhere, and then the big shocker, Seth Rollins.
Now, Dean Ambrose, months and months ago, said that he would never let Seth Rollins cash in that Money in the Bank title.
Right.
Well, Dean Ambrose did not come out there. Randy Orton just handed Seth Rollins his butt earlier in that night. He did not come out there to stop him.
Right. Continuity my ass. This is WWE. But I will say this. I like what they did here. This was genius. They took a predictable swerve and twisted it in a way where it wasn't predictable. I thought that he was going to wait until after the match to do it, but he did it during the match, and I was like, okay, because that's something that hasn't been done before, a cash in during a match to turn it into a triple threat, and Seth Rollins simply capitalizes on the triple threat rules, not having to pin Brock Lesnar to win the title, and I'm glad that Roman Reigns was the one that took the pinfall, because it adds to Seth Rollins' heat, and it can try and get more babyface-like sympathy for Roman Reigns, because not only did Seth Rollins take the title away from Brock Lesnar, he robbed Roman Reigns out of his WrestleMania dream. He did two things at once. Well, actually three things. He cashed in, won the belt, and he screwed Roman Reigns over. I thought it was a great finish. And I said in my predictions video that Seth Rollins could be the one to save that main event, and I think he did.
I don't know if he saved it, but it was interesting, and it was a good match.
Yeah, good match, a great finish. I loved it.
And Roman Reigns did great against somebody like Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, super stiff.
I wanted him
UFC
to win.
muscle.
I doubted him, but once the match got in there and he busted open Brock, I was like, okay, he can win this, but he did.
Yeah, overall, I got to admit, the build-up to this show was laughably bad. It was just hardly anything there to build up this show, but once we started watching this show, we have to be honest, and we got to give credit where credit is due. At least I will. This felt like a WrestleMania. This really felt like a big deal, a big show. The fact that they had a unique looking set for the show added to it a lot, because all the other pay-per-views that they do, they look like they just used the sets for Raw and SmackDown and just slapped a pay-per-view title on it. But this really felt like a big deal. But if the show had been hyped better, built up, advertised better, and if some of the stars that participated in this show were actually show up and help build up the show, it would have added to it, I guarantee it. But overall, thought it was great. I thought it was a great show, just not the best. Don't overhype it, don't overrate it. On a scale of 1 to 5, I give this show 3.5.
I'll give it a 3.
Yeah, it was great, just not perfect. You just got to take it for what it is, keep an open mind. But overall, a really solid WrestleMania. There have been worse. So there's our review for WrestleMania 31. Let us know what you think. Drop us a comment, give us a thumbs up. Do whatever you want to do. So, thanks again for watching, everybody. See y'all later.